Can you hear me? Yeah! Okay, I'm going to start over. Woo! Thank you for letting me know that. Okay, so I want to talk about this concept that I wrote about earlier this week, this idea that people love to buy but hate to be sold to. It's so funny because this has been this kind of like theme lately that I've been seeing in client conversations I'm having. It came up at our retreat, certainly, definitely in groups I'm seeing this conversation. I actually had a client call this morning. We talked about almost this exact thing, and it's this idea of like there is a middle ground between like sleazy selling and no selling at all, and it's this idea of people love to buy but hate to be sold to. So I think about my own buying behavior when I think about this in just like a very generic form of like, if I walk into a store, like say a department store or something, and there's pushy salespeople, like I'm so out for that and I just can't, right? If I walk into Target, magically, I seem to walk away with all the things I like to buy, but I hate to be sold to, right? So I want you to think of this in terms of your clients, your business model, your sales process. Like, how can you make it fun to buy without being really sleazy and salesy? And so when I say sold to, what I mean is this idea of disempowerment. Now, certainly the people that are selling to you are not framing it like that, but that's basically what it is, right? It's really disempowering. It feels like when you're at the store and the salespeople swarm you, it feels like you can't even make like a good choice for yourself, right? Or when you're on a discovery call and people are telling you like, well, if you don't work with me, you're not going to get anywhere. If you don't hire me as your coach, your business is going to tank or go down the drain, or like this is the only way to be successful, or that really disempowering talk about only with me, or I know better than you, or all this kind of stuff where we're like taking our clients' power and making them feel like they can't make good decisions for themselves, right? Like, again, that's what I feel like when I'm in the store and the salesperson is being pushy, and I'm like, yo, I can decide what jeans I want. I need you to back it up, right? Totally different than like getting presented with an opportunity, getting presented with a decision, getting empowered, right? Abby, I'm so glad you're on here. Thank you for joining me. So we like to buy, right? Like I want to buy the jeans, but I hate to feel disempowered around them where I feel like I don't know best, or I'm getting pushed into something, or I'm not giving myself, or being given rather, the space to decide what I need, what I want. So I want you guys to be able to sell, to feel empowered selling, and think of it as like an empowered decision that you are giving to your clients. It's not a decision you're making for them. It's not a way to disempower them, to make them feel shameful or guilty or like they're doing something wrong, right? Could tell, let me pick my own dang jeans. Exactly. Like I am an empowered adult and I like the jeans that I like, but I like to buy them and I want that, right? So I want that experience of buying and having an experience. If somebody's getting on a call with you, they want to buy, right? But if you're making them feel sold to, if you're disempowering them, if you're making them feel like you know better, you're their only secret to success, whatever the thing is, even if you're trying to do that whole like song and dance of like, look at me and all the things I offer and all the bonuses and da-da-da, no, not worth it, right? It's still totally getting sold to, not buying an experience, right? So what does that look like? Finding that middle ground between being sold to and loving to buy. For me, and like what my belief system around this is, and what I see to be true with my clients that use this system, is that when you build a relationship, when you seek to understand the person in front of you and make them feel heard, empowered, and understood, that is the difference between wanting to buy and getting sold to, because you're making it about them and you're presenting them with an offer that they feel empowered around and that they get to decide around, right? I was talking to one of my clients this morning and was saying to her, okay, so you I'm trying to think of the way to say this right, but basically the gist of it was we were talking about this client that she had that was ending and like, should she make a continuing offer, right? And she was like, well, I don't think I should for these various reasons. And all of these reasons were like nothing the client had explicitly told her. It was like inferred things, right? Of like, well, maybe she'd prefer to do this way or this or this. And when we talked about it, it was like, she just didn't want to feel salesy or pushy to this person that she had built this great relationship with. And so we had to figure out, how do we reframe that to, I'm presenting her with an empowered decision. I'm not like going in there and telling her, you have to take this. This is your next step. And if you don't, no matter what, things are going to fall apart. No, it's like, hey, I have this thing that I think could be the next step for you. What do you think about it, right? Andrea says, give them the opportunity to make an empowered decision. Yes, preach. Yes, exactly. So that's exactly what we did this morning, is like, how do you reframe that? How do you make this offer to this ongoing client and make her feel like you're giving her the place to make an empowered decision, right? That's what sales are. When you make that person feel heard, understood, and empowered, and then you present them with an empowering decision, everything becomes so easy, and it's not icky or sleazy. But it's not the other end of the spectrum where you're doing the thing where you decide for them, because that's not empowerment either, right? It's very disempowering to decide for other people what they need and never give them the opportunity to. So I want you to think about that too. Like, if you're struggling with this, if you're like, how do I sell in a way that doesn't feel like I'm selling to everyone, that kind of thing, this is your middle ground, right? I provide empowering choices, and I make sure that I'm not making the decision for them either way. Like, I'm not deciding that if they don't hire me, their business is going to tank. And I'm not deciding that they know that they shouldn't hire me for these 5 reasons that I've made up about them, right? Or because they said this one thing this one time, right? We're going to keep giving these empowering choices and these empowering decisions to our clients, to our audience, to our tribe. And we're going to assume that they are empowered individuals on the other end of that, that can make their own choice, right? That aren't going to be made to feel any negative way about that. Like, so for example, the client that I'm talking about from this morning, if she sends off this next offer and says, hey, I think this might be the next right step for you. Here's the offer. Let's talk about it. And that person had a reaction to it. It's so obvious, because we're from the outside looking in, to see that it would be that person's reaction. It would not be anything that the client did, right? It would be her reaction of feeling some certain way about her money mindset, her issues, her challenges, whatever. The client would be doing exactly the right thing by providing the empowering decision. However, I've already talked to her, and I know that's not how that interaction went down, but it's just an example of the idea that we can't control everyone's reaction to things, but we have to stop making choices for them based on what we think their reaction might be, right? So it doesn't mean it's always going to go perfect every single time, no matter what, but we can't make the decision for them, right? We have to present them with the empowered choice to decide what is true for them and what they want, right? One of the reasons this was coming up too is because a theme that has been in some of my conversations, both from the retreat and from some of the women I've talked to after, is this piece where a lot of them that I've talked to about this have kind of built their businesses based on referrals. So they have clients coming in mostly from word of mouth, and so they haven't really had to do a lot of selling in their business. So now selling feels like this super weird, uncomfortable, icky thing, but really they've been selling all along, because they've just been building those relationships, leveraging them, and their clients have been providing empowering decisions to other people on their behalf. They're getting on the phone, providing the empowering decision, and it's working. But if we can apply that on a grand scale, right, then we can keep making bigger and bigger offers and scaling our businesses. Not bigger offers, but like wider offers, I guess is what I want to say, to more people, and scaling our business, because we're doing that exact same thing to the masses, like to our tribe, to our list, to our group, to whatever it is, right? Cattell raises her hand. Yes. Well, Cattell designed all of my stuff, so let me give you the empowering choice to think about hiring Cattell because she's amazing. But yes, to mostly referrals, right? So that works and it's amazing. And frankly, I think if you build a business based off of only referrals, you're in an amazing place because you're making your clients super happy. But it's just this idea of I can actually make the same type of relationships I'm building with referrals scalable and bigger and better by looking at it as providing an empowered choice to my clients, to my audience, right? To my potential clients, whatever. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that kind of like speaks to the difference of being sold to, which again is sort of that idea of I know better than you. I am better than you. I know what's best for you more than you do, right? And then wanting to buy, which is like wanting support, wanting an experience, wanting whatever service you're really coming to get. I could tell. Way to sell, girl. You get 10% off. That is like the best thing ever. I love you so much. Yes. Perfect. Perfect example. Love to buy but hate to be sold to. You're not like, yes, and if you hire any other designer, your business will fail miserably. You're like, but I'll get you 10% off, right? Beautifully done. So I hope this is like a great example. That was a great example. And I think also just like being willing to provide the empowering decision more than once. I think that's another place. That's another place people struggle. Hey, Maggie. That is definitely another place people struggle, which is like, okay, well, I've provided the empowering decision once. So now what do I do? Am I taking away their power if I provide it again? And I think the answer is no, because we're assuming they're empowered enough to give us a yes or no, right? So if I put out an offer and I, put it out to my community, my list, my group, whatever. Ooh, speaking of that, I actually am going to tell you guys about something. I'm so glad I just said that. If I put out an offer to my community, my list, my group, I can't assume that like everybody saw it, everybody thought about it, and nobody wants it, right? I have to think that they need time to keep making the right decision. They need to be presented with it a couple times, maybe several times, right? Many of you have probably heard my Target jacket story of like being presented with the same idea over and over again. Well, I guess I probably only shared that in value-centered sales. But if you're in value-centered sales, you've heard the Target jacket story, right? Which is like just this idea of being presented with the same empowering decision over and over again. And sometimes we need that because we have 50,000 things going on in our brain, right? And so it's not always like just a yes or a no, clear, done. It's like I thought about it and then I forgot to think about it, or that seems interesting and I need to process that later, or I didn't even see it, or I wish I would have saw that, but I didn't know I could buy it, right? I had I actually had like 3 messages about value-centered sales recently, and people were like, I didn't even know about it. I wish I could have bought it, right? And I presented the decision for that multiple times, right? So I'm not saying it's their fault that they didn't see it. I'm just saying this is how business works, right? Got to provide the same empowering decision over and over again. So people love to buy but hate to be sold to. So make sure you're providing an empowering decision for your audience, that you're giving them the chance to buy, because we really do like to do that. We like to invest in ourselves. We like to go to the next level. We like to do things that are good for us, but we hate to feel disempowered through that process. So remember that. I hope that helps. And then I want to tell you guys about an offer that I have that I can present an empowering decision around, which is a live event. Well, I guess that's a big way to say it. It's a live experience that I'm doing in Chicago in August. I believe it's the 26th and 27th. Might be the 27th and 28th. Not quite sure. We'll let you know. I'll drop the link below. I haven't actually shared this yet, so I'm super excited about it. It's called the MSE Miracle. So you guys know me. I'm all about mindset, strategy, and execution. And I am specifically really about doing more in-person stuff this year, because I think there is so much value in getting face-to-face and diving in and doing the work. So I'm going to have 2 slots open, just 2. we're going to do an entire VIP day together. So that's why it's 2 days, because there's 2 spots available. And basically, we're going to go through the entire MSE process. So in the morning, we're going to talk about your mindset and strategy and get really clear on what you want to do next. And in the afternoon, we are literally going to execute on it. So if what we decide the next thing to do to scale your business is to build out a sales funnel or to create passive income, like, we are literally going to do that day together in Chicago on our computers working together. This is the thing that's like really lighting me up in business, is not only being available to provide the coaching and partnership support, but like really get my hands dirty in your business. Like, all of my clients know I love to edit your stuff and be in it with you and see your blogs and see your content, see your funnels, take part in all of that. And so I'm really just bringing this experience to the live forum of like having a partner in your business that's getting their hands dirty with you and that's actually moving you forward with the execution piece of it, right? Thank you, Cattell. So much value, Maggie. Love it. Yes. Maggie, it was so fun when we met in person, right? Like, it makes such a difference, and it just takes your relationship to that whole different level. Cattell, this is like honey for my beard. You are so funny. I love you. It's actually, that's really funny, because on my desk, I have like this framed thing that says "You're the bee's knees," and it's like a big honeybee. Lacey Craig is an awesome editor and thought partner, and I'm super picky. I love you so much, Maggie. It is like more than my pleasure to be that for you and your business. So we're doing this in Chicago. It's 2 days. I haven't announced it anywhere else yet. I'm just going to drop the link below. I'm going to announce it this weekend probably. I'm assuming those spaces will go fast because I've already had people asking me about it when I mentioned I was coming there. So let me know. If you're interested, if you have questions. I definitely want us to get a chance to connect before you decide that's for you, because I think we want to be able to go deep right away, and I want to make sure this is the right fit. But it is going to literally be magical. I was going to call it the MSE Magic, and then it didn't really fit, but we're calling it the MSE Miracle, and it's going to be magical, right? We're also going to do fun things like have lunch together in Chicago. We're going to have happy hour together and celebrate. Celebration is like one of the key foundations of my business. Every client I have knows that anytime something happens, my first question is, how are you celebrating? So after our day together, we're going to have happy hour, we're going to celebrate, and you're going to get the full experience of mindset, strategy, execution, and celebration. You'll also have follow-up support from me, so it will be super valuable, super fun. And here's the crazy thing. Since it's the first time I'm doing it, well, I've done VIP days with my personal clients, but since it's the first time I'm doing it for anybody that has not been a personal client. Oh, Maggie says, yes, I've had VIP day as part of our ongoing coaching, and it was super focused and fun. That was so fun. I loved that day. Thank you. Empowered offer. Yes. I love that I got to like demonstrate it, right? So normally my half day intensives, which are done on Zoom, are 1,119. And so you're literally getting a full 8 hours with me, 9 to 5. Is that 8 hours? Probably. So double the time of a half day intensive for only like $400 more. So not even, actually. It's going to be $14.99. So we're going to spend the whole day together. You will walk away with a to-do list. Don't get me wrong. I know Maggie can attest to this, but we're also going to get stuff done while we're there. You're going to have a strategy, you're going to have a plan, and we are literally going to execute together. So that is my empowering choice for you, right? Your business is not going to fail if you don't do this, but it might be really freaking awesome and totally blow up if you do. So I would love to invite you to join me. If you have questions, let me know. And then I would love to hear your thoughts if you're watching the replay on the difference between buying and being sold to. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and thank you so much for joining me.